Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's October the 9th, and this is the Denver Business Beat podcast. My name is Arica Netterville, and my very special guest is Wendy Watson today. How are you?
Good.
Oh, so happy to have you on the show. You're one of my best Judies, and we always have fun when we're at networking events and functions throughout the Denver metro area. And I'm so excited to have this episode today because you do something that a lot of our guests that's been on so far has never done, and that's empowering women. I think that that's such an amazing job, an amazing career, and we're going to dive right back into this interview. You ready, Wendy?
I'm ready.
Let's get it.
All right.
So tell us a little bit about the organization, your role in that, and a little bit of information on what you're doing right now.
Okay, well, I am the founder and spiritual relationship mentor with TBR Spiritual Health. And I help fempreneurs maximize their relationships or master their relationships in order to maximize their results. While I love the Authentic You movement, I strongly believe that you cannot be your authentic self unless you are in relationship with all the components that make you a whole person.
Yeah. You recently did a series of speaking at our B2B exchange in DTC, and there were so many emotions that you pulled out of me during your speaking, and a lot of it reflected back to my mom and the things that I felt or taste or remember. So it was neat that you were able to pull that up and have those memories. As most of you know, I lost my mom 6 months ago tomorrow, and she was an incredible woman, and I really feel since she's been gone, I've been more in tune to my feminine side and a little bit softer and more patience and trying to have understanding. And, women supporting women is the best thing in the whole wide world.
We are so much stronger together as women, as humanity in general, than we are apart.
Yeah.
So let's get rid of the negative competition.
Right.
Let's figure out how to help and support and uplift and empower each other to be the best versions of us that we can be.
Yeah. I see that
my condolences.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I see some incredible speaking events and webinars and all kinds of things that you're doing on LinkedIn. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And then I think there's like this big conference coming up. So there's so much to dive into.
Yes. So I'm, trying to get my message out there and just trying to impact as many people as I can. So doing these webinars, like I have one coming up on November 9th called Pivot or Quit It.
Oh.
Time to pick your hustle.
Yeah.
And it's a game where we're going to figure out if your decision making is in alignment with your vision.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then that tells you where you need to tweak things.
Right.
And it's a perfect time to do that because it's, number one, it's after the election. And number two, it's in Q4 as we're getting ready to set our vision for 2025 and set our events. And so I just love networking and providing content and workshops and helping people to look at things from a different perspective that they may not have otherwise looked at it. And so, yes, I have this amazing conference coming up next April, on April 5th, 2025, right here in Denver, called the SaaS Class and Cash Conference. Or I'm partnering with a company called She Talks. It's a nonprofit organization all about empowering and uplifting women through sharing our stories, because every one of us has a story to share.
Sure.
And while our own individual experiences are unique, a lot of them are still the same. They're still very similar to each other. And so just getting those stories out, hearing these powerful, inspiring women, and knowing that you're not alone in the trials and the tribulations, the ebbs and flows of business and momhood and community and relationships. You're not alone in these struggles. So let's hear how other people are doing it. And so we're going to have 6 amazing speakers, 5 and 6 figure TEDx speakers
That's amazing.
and TEDx speaker coaches.
Yeah.
And 4 panels,
Okay.
2 different workshops, and all kinds of networking events.
That's amazing. And the date and the time for that, and where is that conference going to be located?
April 5th,
Okay.
2025,
Uh-huh.
from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., followed by a happy hour after.
Ooh.
I do not have the venue yet, and I'm still working on
Okay.
that, but it is going to be right here in Denver, within a half an hour drive of the airport.
Perfect. And if somebody's wanting to sponsor or get involved or get a table or something like that, how would they go about that?
Yes, so you can just email me at wendy@leadandempowerher.com, or you can go to leadandempowerher.com and go to the events page and find that event.
Perfect. And we'll keep pushing that event for Miss Wendy as well. And we're going to get into some interview questions that's really going to show you how Wendy got to where she is today. So what makes you feel inspired and allows you to be the best version of yourself?
That is a great question.
I know. They're good.
I know. So what inspires me? Other women, other stories, you know, other people that are doing amazing things and pushing forward. You know, they're doing their self-care and all the things, but they're pushing forward and they're following their guidance, they're following their mission, and they're doing.
Yeah. I think women have so many roles that they have to hop in and out of throughout the course of the day. Wife, mom, employee, CEO, soulpreneur. There's just so many different things that we have to pivot.
Yeah, that we have to
I pull that back to pivot. That we have to pivot regularly. And, you know, with my own daughter, if you're working in an 8-hour day, your children, your husband, the bills, whatever, is going through your mind while you're sitting at your desk. And if that daughter or son texts you or calls you or something's going on, you're distracted temporarily to, oh my God, my child. And then you go back into, oh, I'm the employee. That is really a hard thing for some employees to do, especially if, you know, they've got to go to school and pick up the sick baby or whatever have you. I just think that women's shoulders got such a big load on them. Who has been a guide and a mentor for you in your life?
So my biggest mentor was my grandmother,
Oh,
and she just passed away a year ago.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. She went out on her own terms, and therefore I'm super grateful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes. So she was the typical stay-at-home mom.
Mm-hmm.
She raised 3 kids. She was extremely faithful to her religion and her beliefs.
Yeah.
But she was a true matriarch. She was a true giver of all things, and so she was super sassy and just loved getting out there and meeting people. And even if somebody's story or somebody's thoughts didn't agree with hers, there was no judgment. She just enjoyed hearing all the stories. And so just having that open mind, having that open spirit, especially coming from the Midwest 1930s,
Sure.
you know, that to me is huge.
Yeah.
And so she literally would go out of her way to make everybody happy, even if she had to go to 5 different restaurants to get them all something different for food. So, you know, just supporting her kids the way that she's had to support her kids.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
This is a first for our show. We got an email for you.
Oh!
So they emailed in. Jillian Scott at rpmmanagement.com wants to know, would Wendy be able to come out to our place of business and do a workshop for our female employees?
1000%, absolutely.
Woohoo! So there you go, Jillian. We'll make sure we get all of her information and contact and LinkedIn over forwarded to you. She has been looking at some of your LinkedIn stuff, and I think that's amazing. It's exciting for me when I finally get an email email for the show and a question to ask a guest that's upcoming, that is just a hands down, lets us know that viewers are watching, they're connecting with the guest, and they're taking the show seriously. And it's small and it's new, but we're clicking numbers every week that we didn't have the week before or the week before. So just thank you for that, because
congratulations.
I mean, when I got my first email for Wendy, I was like, oh my God, Miss Watson, yes.
We're both gonna celebrate.
Yes. So I thought that was really amazing.
Thank you, Jillian.
Yeah, Jillian, we appreciate you. What are some of the challenges you faced when you first got in the mindset to want to do this career path? I know, these questions are amazing.
Okay, repeat the question again.
What are some of the challenges that you faced when you wanted to start getting into this career path? Because empowering women and doing all these works, that takes a lot to get to.
Yeah, so let me just preface with this. I started 2 companies in Phoenix, just with my own grit, and I didn't have to use marketing, I didn't have to use sales, I didn't have to use any of those types of business methods. It just grew out of fruition.
Yeah.
So coming up here, so I moved up here 2 years ago, not knowing what I was gonna do.
I moved here 2 years ago too.
I literally did not have a plan. It was all in divine guidance and what I was supposed to do.
Wow.
But
The universe.
I did know that I needed a CRM. I needed sales skills. I needed marketing skills. I needed all these things that I didn't have to use for my other ones. And they're all different languages.
Yeah.
So I was learning how to write a book, how to love a cat, how to operate a CRM, like all these different languages, all these different types of relationships in a very short amount of time. And so that was the first thing, the biggest obstacle that I knew I had to accomplish.
Wow. Could you have a piece of advice for someone that was wanting to get into the same career field as you, and what it takes to make sure that, one, you are in tune with yourself so that you can empower other women?
Yes. So the saying goes, the wedding planner never marries.
Oh.
You cannot teach somebody how to be clean if you are not clean yourself.
Right.
So the biggest piece of advice, if you want to be a life coach, a spiritual mentor of some kind, anything like that, you first must work on yourself and really get to as close to your authentic self as you possibly can. I mean, we're always evolving, we're always discovering new things about ourselves, but who are you in this moment, and how clean can you get in order to help others do the same? Yeah,
it has to be organic. If it's not organic and authentic, then what are you doing? And I just feel that you're such a solid person, and anytime I've ever been in your energy, there's a little bit of mentoring, there's a little bit of that, and I know it's kind of funny to say, but there's also a little mothery feel, you know? And when you recently lost your mom, you gravitate to that, and I've gravitated to other women, even in the business that I'm at now, and some are a little older, and some I'm older, and some I feel like the aunt, some I feel like they're, my sister or my mom. Those relationships are so important for all of us.
So I truly believe that my grandmother passed on her maternal nature to me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because I've never wanted kids. I still don't want kids. I never have looked at myself as a maternal person.
Believe me, it's a lot of work.
And as I've gone through some of my training, my mentors are like, "You are so motherly."
Yeah.
Who are you looking at?
That just might be part of your personality and your energy that you give off.
Well, exactly. And so that's a part of me I really had to embrace. As I have not given birth to children, it's a different process for me to get into that motherly space or that nurturing space.
What would you say to a lady who has just got her head down, she's working, she's paying her bills, she's living her life, but it's not a quality life, and maybe she doesn't feel as feminine, what would be your suggestion for her in that regard?
What do you want?
Oh.
I mean, it's really as simple as that.
Yeah.
Is what do you want?
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, if that is the job that you want, great. If that is the career that you want, fabulous. If that's the routine and the cycle that you want, then go for it.
Yeah.
But if you're not finding the fulfillment, if you're not finding the purpose, then you have to reevaluate each aspect of your life.
Right.
Do you have a well-balanced routine to where you have a morning routine that sets you up for success in order to go to work?
Right.
Is your work fulfilling? Do you have the health and wellness aspect of your life? Do you have the community aspect of your life? How are your relationships? Like, what exactly do you want? What's working for you and what's not? And finding the things that are not working for you and just eliminating those.
Right.
And actually, that's what our SAS Cash and Class conference is all about next April, is being able to find that balance, what that balance looks like for you, inspiring you, and then giving you the tools that you need to find that balance, but then also how to move with the ebbs and flows as life changes in order to reestablish new balances.
Right. So 2 things that's going to be my takeaway from that is, 1, just make an appointment with Miss Wendy. Number 2, it's so easy. What do you want? And don't hard it. You know, don't make it hard. Don't make it.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it. Just sit down and think about what you want.
What is something that you've really had troubles with this past year in your industry?
In my industry, you know, a lot of people don't know what a spiritual mentor is. So
I know. Yeah.
And you know, some people say, oh, well, you have to teach people, you know, what pain points you solve.
Right.
And then other people are coming to me and say, I don't know what you do. And it's like, okay, do I teach people what I do? Do I focus on pain, which, I'm sorry, that doesn't sound pleasant to me? Or do I teach you what I can create, what I can help you to create?
Yeah.
You know, I actually got my first call from Google last week.
Oh, Google.
Which is amazing. And
congratulations.
She told me, she's like, I'm really tired of other healers telling me what I need to do. And it's like, I can't read your mind. I can't read your book with God. I can't read you.
Yeah.
I mean, I can if you give me permission, but I don't know what your mission is and your passion is.
Right.
So all I can do is guide you to figure that out for yourself. And so getting that message across has been extremely difficult, to either teach people what I do, figure out how to market, and, you know, teach people what I can do for them and what kind of a life I can help them to create.
That is my stomp. Here's the thing that I'm going to break it down with you.
Yeah.
This year being a political year, this year with chaos, this year with double hurricanes, the American people have really just felt like we've been drugged through the mud, number 1.
Yep.
So every woman in the Denver metro and surrounding areas, we feel exhausted. We feel overdone. We feel just fried, put the fork in us and turn us over. And even in some degrees, there's times where I feel that because I have a lot on my plate, as do you and as do other women. And I think after the election, I think you're going to get really busy because people are just ready to say, oh my gosh, we got to this point. I can breathe now, but I need some self-help. I need some inner help. I need some cleansing and some clarity and some refocus on putting myself together and how do we as a nation move forward. I think the really amazing thing about Kamala is I think America can use a little mothering right now. To be held, to be comforted, to be consoled. We've went through so much drama. in the last few years, and I'm sure there's more to come because 2024 isn't over. But I just think that someone in your position is really able to help that overwrought, overworked, she's been doing it so long, she doesn't even know the pathway anymore. She's just like a robot. And so many women are.
Or they're very much leaning into that masculine energy, and they put up these guards because they work in a masculine dominated industry.
You hit it right.
Or they put up these guards because they've been told they're too emotional, they're too sensitive, they're too this, they're too that. And I'm sorry, but I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
Like being emotionally intelligent, knowing how to use your emotions,
and in tune with how do I feel? What do I want? Those two questions are so important. But that
really gets you in touch with your employees.
Right.
That gets you in relationship with their employees instead of them just being a number and having tasks to do.
Right.
It's being in relationship with your clients, with your vendors, with your business partners, and really using those emotions and intuition. And I love using intuition, our inner GPS, to vet the people that we do business with, whether it's business partners, collaborators, employees, vendors, whatever that looks like. Our intuition is our most powerful tool that we have. Why aren't we using it to vet the people that we work with so that we're not wasting our time, energy, and money on the wrong employees?
Right.
Or wasting our time, money, and energy on the wrong clients that just takes so much out of us.
Sure.
We won't be so exhausted, so overwhelmed, so stressed, so anxious if we really use that inner guidance to vet the people that we work with and make sure that they are in alignment with us, make sure they're in alignment with our vision, our principles, and things will just flow so much more smoothly.
Well, these are the next two questions that I ask every guest on my show. And they're starting to get to that understanding. If you can go back and talk to 15-year-old Wendy at where you're at right now, what would you say to her?
Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself.
Amen to that. And we're going to flip it. What would you say to your 65-year-old self about the legacy that you've left behind?
You damn did it, girl.
Bloop. We're going to go into some announcements on that. Next week we will have...
Pardon my French, guys.
I love it. We will have Adriana Munez here next week. On the 23rd, Charlie Stivers, you know Charlie, the crypto king. And the 30th, Regina Tomlinson.
Yes.
So you folks have been hammering me on November guest. And November 6th is Leslie Hacksworth. The 13th of November will be Corey Lassica. And the 20th, Ryan Caldwell from our group. And then the 27th, Tyler Tyson. We went a little bit longer because I wanted the show to be about Wendy today. Normally we do the Chamber Corner, and there's so many amazing events with all the 5 chambers that we belong to. So look at their calendars, see what you want to go into. We're just getting long on time today, and I wanted this to be all about Wendy and her empowering women and the story that needs to be told. Now here's the thing. November's coming up. I already got my email about the ballot and all the details of voting. We're going to ask Wendy one last question. What would you think, and this is a double-sided question, what would you think about having, for the first time ever, a female president of the United States?
Well, I'm going to answer it this way because I don't get into politics.
Perfect.
But if you've been paying attention for the last 4 to 10 years, and basically since 2012, so the last 12 years, there's been a huge focus on female empowerment. There's been a huge focus on female diversity and the female voice, and really raising up that feminine energy and that feminine focus. And I just want to, whether you're running for president or the president of your company or the president of the US, or just, wanting to be the best mother you can be, just focus on the strengths of being a female, the vulnerability, the beauty in being vulnerable, the beauty in our stories, and being able to multitask and do all the things that we can do and really nurture and help other people, and being in that servant leadership. And I really encourage you and invite you to not see those things as negatives,
right,
and just really hone in and appreciate those things. And I think our human culture really needs more of that feminine
leadership,
nurturing leadership. And so I'm going to end it with that.
I never thought in my lifetime that I would see a female, and I don't care Republican or Democrat, just have the milk of human kindness and moral compass to lead the nation. So I'll say that politically and not take a stance either way. But I never thought in my life I would see a female president or a female vice president. 21 years old, I've been in this business for 25 years. I've sat at a receptionist desk when I first started in HVAC, plumbing, heating, cooling, and electric. And the way I was spoken to, the way I was handled, the way I was treated back then, I just never thought today that I could be with a company that's gonna listen to what I say, take what I have to say seriously, and I have a seat at the table just like a man. So that's exciting.
I really want to point out how far we've grown. In such a short amount of time, going back and looking at how many millennia humans have been around.
Sure.
Right, so we've really grown as humanity in a very short amount of time in relationship to that.
Right.
Are we perfect? No. We're humans. We're never going to be perfect.
We've got a long road to go.
Recognize the growth that we have made, instead of continuing to look at the future of how much work we still have to do.
Absolutely. We're going to close out the show with our Marketing Minute by Odie Smith. Now remember, folks, this is the drill. Next week we have 4 consistent days in the 30s.
It's gonna get cold.
So if you are needing commercial or residential plumbing, heating, cooling, electric, if you've not got that system tuned up, either commercial or residential, your boiler, your HVAC system, your water heater, before things start to freeze, before things start to get into that cold time, we want to keep your staff comfortable, we want to keep your customers comfortable, we want to keep your clients happy, and we want you at home being comfortable and warm and safe. So all the information's here, and you know my phone number by now. Connect with me on LinkedIn or from the advertisements, and we'll get that appointment made. My name is Arica Netterville. I'm your host here at the Denver Business Beat podcast. Today, Miss Wendy, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
She will share this information on her social medias as well, and then I will keep sharing her information and all the details about the upcoming conference in April.
Yes.
Have a wonderful day, make great choices, and we'll see you on the next show.
Yes, and I look forward to seeing you on LinkedIn.